It's Sunday morning at the Leprosy Mission's Mercy Home in Bankura, West Bengal. Staff and elderly residents who live with the heartbreaking effects of leprosy come together to worship. My name is Ian Jeps. My wife Pauline and I have been Christians since we were teenagers, and the Lord has laid the suffering of people with leprosy on our hearts throughout our marriage. It's important to us that our love lives on in the name of Jesus long after we are gone, and so we've decided to leave the Leprosy Mission a gift in our will. We've been invited to India to meet some of the people who will benefit from legacies.
Oh, thank you. Don't you bad.
After the service, we're taken to meet the more disabled residents of the Mercy Home.
Thank you.
There's a real feeling of love and compassion here, but nothing can hide the pain and anguish of those who have suffered so terribly for so long. Everyone here has been abandoned by their families and by society. I was taken to meet Habu. He's 86, blind and almost deaf. He's lost his fingers and most of his toes to damage caused by dangers he can no longer feel.
Thank you. His life has been so different from mine. What a wonderful guy. Yeah.
I've seen people with leprosy before, but it still distresses me to see people so profoundly affected by the disease. They're still excluded, still avoided in the streets, and left to live in the shadows. We know that legacies enable the Leprosy Mission to break this devastating cycle of exclusion and disability. To find out how, Pauline and I are going to visit the mission's vocational training centre. Here, young people affected by leprosy are trained in technical skills that are in high demand. Employers often discriminate against leprosy-affected people, but the skills they learn here will open a whole new world of opportunities. I spoke to one of the students about her hopes for the future.
My father has suffered so much because of leprosy. No one will employ him. Life for my mother and sisters has been hard, but I'm here learning to become a seamstress. It will mean I can get a job and support my mother and father in their old age.
To see so many young people so keen to learn was exciting. Gone is the stigma of leprosy. In its place, a newfound confidence. These trainees will be wanted by employers. They'll be able to work themselves out of poverty and support their families. Some will even become employers themselves. As a lifelong supporter of the Leprosy Mission, I'm so happy to see such positive change in their lives. Our time in Bankura is nearly over, but we have one last visit to make to a motorcycle garage run by a graduate of the Vocational Training Centre. Samir was diagnosed with leprosy when he was just 16, but thankfully he received treatment quickly. The Leprosy Mission trained him as a mechanic, and now he's running a thriving business employing 7 people.
It's absolutely thrilling to know that just a little investment in a person's life can achieve such an amazing and wonderful difference, not only for one individual, but for many individuals, which will go on into the years to come. What a privilege it is to be sharing in that work.
After meeting Samir and his family, I couldn't help but think how differently his life has turned out compared to the residents of the Mercy Home. This was the reason we came to Bankura, to see the difference the Leprosy Mission is making in people's lives. Please remember the Leprosy Mission when you make your will.
Why wouldn't you leave a legacy to get to long-term change for people's lives? It just does make sense. The best investment is a legacy for the future.
As Pauline and I go for one last cup of tea before we fly home, I am reminded of a saying by Eddie Askew, a former director of the Leprosy Mission. We make our mark, and however small it is, it's our mark, and the world will never be quite the same again. God grant the mark we leave is the mark of the cross. Please remember the Leprosy Mission when you make your will. Thank you.